Story 1. Everyone saying just be yourself here is missing the point a little. Of course, that is what you want to be doing once you start having a proper conversation with her. I think the original poster is asking how to get that conversation started. He needs practical tips, not be yourself. My tips. As pointed out in the comments, there are so many different approaches. Sometimes completely being yourself and just saying hi will work statistically. I just wanted to say to try something like these if whatever you're doing isn't working out. Reference things in their photos. My single buddy just recently went on Tinder again and swiped on someone who had a great plant in a photo where she was in a pose. He said, smoothly, in my opinion, "Would you be offended if I told you that the most interesting thing in your pic was your plant name? Slight risk, but she liked it. They're going on a hike this weekend. Find commonalities in your bios if you're on dating apps. Ask them a would you rather question. Be super blunt and ask them something political, especially given the current climate. Not your best bet, but it might provoke someone into answering, and you can potentially identify any unfriendly people pretty quickly. There are some other ways. Hope this is what you were asking. If it's just about standing out after a conversation has been started, well, like everyone here stated, if being yourself isn't enough, then she isn't right for you, or you can consider that you just need to be more interesting. It's possible either way. Good luck, my friend. Story 2. I don't use Tinder, but I've got a friend who is the worst with phones. Never texts or calls anyone back. One day I sent him domestic violence LOL with no explanation, and he replied to that real quick. Not sure this helps, but who knows. Story 3. If you have her on social media, what has always worked for me is to respond to one of her stories. Get the conversation started from there. If you all are familiar, use one of those corny, ask a question, vote, or Instagram polls. And then if she responds to it, talk to her about her choice. This is all Instagram and Snapchat centric. For example, I might post something like, who's cuter, me or my dog? With a cool video of my dog and me as a joke. Regardless of the answer, I'll reach out either way. Damn, thought you thought I was cute. Or, okay, your vote just made my day. Whenever I see you, I'll give you an I voted sticker. Don't be like, you look cute, or any corny compliment like that, since that's what's easy and every guy in the direct messages says that. Just try to start a conversation and go from there. I'm 21, so maybe older adults will think it's corny, but it has worked for me. Story 4. Ask a specific question about something halfway through her profile. It shows her you did more than just want to admire her profile picture. After that, just be yourself. Unless you're a rude person, then you should probably fix that before trying to get into a relationship. Story 5. You need to stand out as a person instead. Have a life that is attractive, and you won't have to come up with witty ways of marketing yourself via direct messages. But also, wrap your wiener around your wrist like a clock. Story 6. Finally, a chance to share my wisdom. I always find that sending her address can really be an attention grabber, maybe even a photo of her you took the other night through a window or from the back porch. It never fails to really make her notice you. Story 7. Woman here. I'm assuming you want more than just sex, so please do not send her an inappropriate picture. Honestly, the best way is to give her a respectful compliment or connect over something like if you all have traveled to the same place or something. Tell her you're interested in getting to know her, and if she wants to as well, then the ball is in her court. Let her know that you want to get to know her in a way that makes her feel the most comfortable. When a guy messages me, the first thing I think about is my safety, and I'd say most women are more likely to respond when they feel like they're in control of the situation at the beginning. You being conscious and wanting her to feel comfortable will stand out because, frankly, it doesn't happen often. Good luck. Story 8. Ask her questions and care about the answers. If you really want to get to know someone, put effort into talking to them. If she doesn't respond, treat you the same, or isn't into you, it's not worth it. You've got this. Most guys just say hi or send a stupid emoji, and that's not a conversation starter. Story 9. The term be yourself is trite and stupid, but it's also the best policy, even if it ends up being the least successful strategy. Why? Because unless your entire objective is just to have a short-term encounter and move on, The person you truly are will eventually catch up with the persona you project, and any differences between the two will likely hurt her and cause her to distrust you, maybe even to the point of leaving you. Now, if all you are looking to do is have a short-term encounter, then projecting a persona that you really aren't is deceitful but potentially successful. Because that encounter is what you are really aiming for, and you're going to move on afterward anyhow, you have no intention of developing feelings for her. But I'm betting this is not your strategy. Most guys who do use this strategy would not be asking the question you're asking, as they have already learned the answer implicitly. So it is one I would strongly caution against. The only caveat to be yourself is to be the best version of yourself. Don't lie or cover up the unpleasant parts, but don't let them come out either. Make explicit attempts on your own to improve yourself, and most importantly, do this in the absence of any intent to impress women. Do it for yourself. Improve yourself for the sake of improving yourself. No one thing is going to affect your success with women, so doing many different things in the absence of any such intent will ironically give you the biggest boost in that regard. I would also strongly caution against direct messages, unless you are physically attractive in a way that most other men in her messages cannot meet or exceed. If you are an average man, you are severely disadvantaged online, as most women are absolutely inundated with online messages from other men. It really is the polar opposite of the experience of most men. If you are a truly average guy, for every unsolicited message that you get from a woman, the average woman is likely to receive hundreds if not thousands of unsolicited messages from other men. She can and will use many different types of filters to manage the overwhelming number of messages, and you are likely to get caught up in more than one of those filters, such as height or other forms of attractiveness. As a result, unless you have no other choice, she's 2 states over, or even in a different country entirely, do your best to interact with her in real life. You'll have your best chances there, as face-to-face communication has an immensely higher data bandwidth than online communication, and she might find herself attracted to values that you hold, personality, etc., that aren't easily or even capable of being transmitted online. Story 10. Be a bit playful, that's always charming. Don't take ages to reply. Try to match her. If she seems really engaged, then give her back the same energy, and if she doesn't reply for hours, don't reply the first minute. Don't send her memes unless she expresses her addiction to them. You don't want to be her meme buddy. Try to be flirty but not too serious in the way you flirt. Make it funny. I think that's all from me. Story 11. Not as a man, but as a woman who uses dating apps, maybe I can offer insight. If you have a female friend on Tinder, ask her to see the messages she receives. You'll see the other end of the playing field, and it couldn't be more different. You, as a man, have to stand out from a lot of noise that women receive, and if we're being realistic, no one is capable of doing that for each and every match. Women on dating apps are flooded with messages, and it's just too time-consuming to go through each and every one. It would literally take hours just to respond, let alone engage in conversation. The responses you receive partly have to do with the quality of the message you send, but there's a good chance your messages get lost in the noise of it all. I say just shoot your shot, my man, and have faith that the right one will bite. Story 12. Do not talk about sex. Never unless she brings it up. Talk about music, your hobbies, your pets, no sex. I got my wife that way. She was intrigued because all the guys before started out talking about sex. Oh, I wanted sex, but I waited until I had her in my clutches. Story 13. In my opinion, the only way to stand out is to be well-built and do cool stuff. Be good at rock climbing, DJ parties, skiing, hiking, etc. And take good pictures of yourself doing that stuff. Story 14. Be attractive. If that's not on the table, do the following. 1. Open your refrigerator. Remove all liquids. Pour the liquids in the bathtub. Send a picture of you bathing in the refrigerated liquids. Not only will you stand out, but she will never forget you, I promise. Story 15. Women have been learning to spot the copy and paste one-liners that guys post to every single woman. Take time to read her bio and pictures. Make an effort to start a conversation. I might spend over 20 minutes on an opener, but it's not long, maybe only 3 sentences tops. Took forever, but I had a really high success rate. I once got a hot PhD woman with a rock climbing photo to give me her phone number in her opening response, and she showed up early for the date, just because I took forever writing her opening line. The thing is, that message could not be used on a different person, and she could tell. That's why she responded the way she did. Story 16. You've heard about inappropriate pictures? Elevate the situation and send a straightforward but inappropriate photo. Let her know you're genuine and not one of those fleeting, irresponsible individuals. Story 17. My advice. Because there are so many other guys going for her, go and look for another girl. In my experience, the best girls are the ones not all the guys go for. Story 18. Show sincere interest by asking her something specific about her based on what's on her profile. It shows that you bothered to read her profile and that you are actually interested in getting to know her. Story 19. I don't know if I can answer, but I believe there are a couple of things you could actually try. Take with a grain of salt. By the way, this is assuming you're looking for a future wife or a more serious relationship. Not every girl, or at least none I know, will be flattered if you come in with, hey, you're so pretty, or whoa, you're attractive, or things of that nature. For me and my female friends, it's annoying. It's almost creepy. Let me say it this way, even serial killers aren't so direct in those ways. Try to find common interests, genuine common interests. Talk about it. Ask questions and be sincere about it. Don't rush meeting, and even though having a plan is important, like knowing where you'd want to take her and when, letting her choose is important because she needs to feel comfortable with you. If you're looking for a casual encounter, I am not the one to ask. Story 20. Don't take advice from the Tinder community. As a woman, it really baffles me how all the popular posts there, or any posts in general, are just sexual jokes, references, or plain, hey, suck my dick disguised as clever puns or jokes. I'd absolutely never reply to a person if their opener is about sex. Instead, try to find a common interest and approach through it. See a game she likes, a movie, or an instrument. Try that. Sometimes, girls just want to chat and vent about things they like and are passionate about. I met my boyfriend through an online game, and it was more fun to talk about that at the start than if he were to push about romance and sex. Be charming, available, and not pushy. Don't be persistent, spammy, or let conversations die out because you just reply and never ask questions. Don't one-up, but relate. As I said, find common ground and let it guide you. We just want to chat and share our little things that make us happy. We don't want explicit pictures. Story 21. I usually just make bold assumptions about the person, like, so I'm gonna guess random stuff, tell me how close I am. You have a sister, hate cats, and have never broken a bone. You'll definitely get a reaction, and it's usually a good one. People love talking about themselves. Story 22. Woman here. Firstly, do not compliment her on her appearance. She knows what she looks like, and nothing is as boring as false modesty. Her looks are the least interesting thing about her. Secondly, say straight away why you want to talk to her without being a creep. If you are on a dating app, pick something interesting in her bio to talk about that does not involve an innuendo. Lastly, be positive but not brimming with emojis or exclamation marks, and never resort to negging. Story 23. Might be a bit late, but I actually started dating my girlfriend after direct messaging her randomly after she posted something random on her Instagram story. For context, we knew of each other in college but didn't talk much. After that sparked a quick conversation. I'd occasionally send her memes, funny posts, and things I found interesting to start conversations. Once I found more about what posts she liked more, I'd start talking about things related to that subject, asking about her day, etc., and get to know her better. Eventually, I got her number, and we had a free-flowing conversation for months. We went on a date, then I went on a long trip that sort of delayed everything. Then we went on a couple of dates, and both had a short trip planned shortly after. Hers got canceled, so she ended up coming on my trip, and we had a great time hanging out with each other. I think we both realized then this may not just be a fling, and here we are. So I'd say the best course of action is to reply to something on her story or her post with something open-ended. Send something interesting that you think she may like, and not to beat a dead horse, but be yourself and don't get too stressed if it doesn't click. Hope that helps. Story 24. Any message that shows you looked at the person beyond your physical attraction to them will put you ahead of many messages. Ask them about their pet or the hobbies they listed and make a connection to your life. For example, is that a Rick and Morty poster behind you? I just finished watching season 3. This is much more likely to get a response than, wow, you are really attractive. My name is Story 25. Not a guy, but a straight woman who used to date online. I was much more likely to respond to substantive get-to-know-you questions, particularly if they reference something in my profile. It's awesome you're into something specific. I love it too. How did you get into it? I think you'd be surprised at how little most men read on profiles. If you can start a conversation about one of her interests and show a genuine curiosity to get to know her, I think that's probably your best bet.